Take your time.
Certainty of death, small chance of success. What are we waiting for?
Fellas, I feel this is my lucky day.
Brilliant.
Hey, and welcome to another episode of Rankum. We're talking about Meryl Streep movies, and surprised it took this long to get to her because I think I've put her on the poll a few times since I started doing this. But we've got a great panel here. Richie, how are you?
Yeah, man. Yeah. It seems like forever since I talked to you. Good jokes. I talked to you a couple of hours ago. But yeah, no. No, it's doing good, man. I thought maybe Meryl Streep would be one of the first ones you'd return. She's one of the greatest actors of our time. And goodbye, Steve. And so no, good. This will be hard to narrow down to 12. This will be a challenge. I think the last time I was on Rankin with Caro, I think this went for a couple hours. So I think I'll do the biopics one. So hopefully it doesn't go that long, but we'll see what happens.
I don't think it's gonna be a couple of hours.
Yeah,
hope not. We'll see.
Yeah, this is not a Samuel L. Jackson ranking, which he's got about 200 movies.
Yeah.
But next up, we've got Jonathan. Jonathan, how's it going?
Pretty good. Glad to be invited to one of the surprisingly first actress rankings. And I mean, who's better to start off than the legend herself, Meryl Streep. And she has a good batch of films here that will be worth discussing. Some great, some good, and some are you out of your mind. But let's see.
Also, you've got Chris Diaz. Chris, how's it going?
Going good. I'd love to meet Meryl. I've watched 3 of her movies that I have never seen before. 2 of them we'll bring up on here that I freaking love. And thank you to some people who have been telling me to watch them. And yeah, there are a bunch of good Meryl Streep movies that I love. Some good, some great, some really bad, but hoping we talk about a bunch of good ones.
And we'll also be joined by Stephen. At some stage, she's having technical issues at the moment. But how Rankin goes is we're going to go around and nominate movies we think belongs on a top 12 Meryl Streep list, and then we'll say yes or no. Because at the moment, we're got 4 people. The person nominated their pick they'll come down to the other 3 people on the panel if it makes the list. Once Stephen rejoins us, then we'll go back to this. You know what I mean. Even if I don't. But we're going to go to Richie first. Richie, what is the first movie you're going to bring up?
Yeah, I'm going to bring up that one movie that always really sticks to me. I don't know. It's pretty. I think it's. I don't know if it's divisive, but it definitely. I mean, I got an Oscar consideration and stuff like that. And I think she's really good in it. I'm going to go Kramer versus Kramer. I think this movie. I love this movie a lot. And I think she's really really good in it. And I think it's just a. Yeah, and overall as well. Like I think it's just a really well directed film where it's a good movie that doesn't really it's a great movie about talks about like obviously divorce and the breakdown of marriage, and then what it means when you got a kid, and it does a good job of not picking sides. You know what I mean? And I really like it. I think Meryl Streep's performance is really. I think she's right. I think she's really 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 good in this, and I think she. They bounce off well, does often. Yeah, I just think it's worth mentioning. Maybe not the first one people would think about, but I want to do that one out of the way first. So I'll go Kramer versus Kramer.
Jonathan, what do you say about Kramer versus Kramer?
Okay, so I did not get a chance to watch as many Meryl movies. Probably like yesterday and today. That's it. And I did rewatch this one. Because I remember someone, I think it was you, Richie, you were on the panel as well, that you brought it up during the Best Picture Redux.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And I said it was good, but it was good. It was a good movie with great performances. And I did rewatch this one, and she is in the movie enough to make consideration because she's very prominent in the second half of the movie. It's really just the custody hearing. I would say yes, because I think Streep's performance is really, for some reason, underrated, even though she won the Oscar. Because her the way that she processes and also says what she needs to say in court, it's quite realistic and quite natural. And her silence is very nuanced as well, as you can tell by the chemistry between Hoffman and Streep and the ending between them as she comes to the realization that she has to let her son go and knows that Hoffman is the better player. So upon rewatching, it did make my top 12 barely, but I'm going to say yes to Kramer versus Kramer.
Chris, what do you say about Kramer versus Kramer?
This for the film I would talk about off air. I am almost done watching. I love this film. It's my first time watching it. I probably never got around to it. Just to the better Meryl story version. I think I like seeing both, like the father's perspective taking on the kid, the dealing with the kid. I think more interesting. I think Meryl Streep really good in the movie. I just got to the cutscene here part, but I see Hartman performance, the script performance alone, like interesting both sides. You do understand both sides of like nobody at fault that marriage that fell apart. Yeah, yes for me. It's definitely in my top 5 right now. Meryl Streep performance.
And Stephen came here just in time for the first pick. What do you say about Kramer versus Kramer?
I think he's frozen. I think that face says it all right there.
Yep, no, I think you're frozen, Stephen.
But he's blinking. You're blinking.
I
don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna be able. I don't. If this keeps happening, I may have to drop out because I don't know what's going on with the internet today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But unfortunately,
I think he's about to say, unfortunately, he hasn't seen it. But I mean, it doesn't matter anyway because it's going to make the list. Yeah, I was going to make the list regardless because I was going to say yes to it because I think Kramer versus Kramer is amazing, and I think it's one of those ones that that is definitely what marriage. It's definitely
story.
Yeah, like it's definitely what Marriage Story was going for with when that came out. It was a comparison everyone seems to make. But yeah, Kramer's main list. Stephen, you're maybe not frozen again.
Well, maybe you are.
I would say try it one more time, Stephen, because I'll pick a movie that'll be pretty easy for us to see.
Yeah. But Jonathan, what is the movie you're going to bring up?
Okay, this is going to be pretty easy for me because it's up there with me, and it's not a subject that I delve into, which is the world of fashion. It's not one of one of the best areas of expertise for me, but I'm going to pick The Devil Wears Prada. And look, I think her entrance alone should be warranted on this list because the moment when you hear that she is coming, Miranda Priestley is coming, the editor-in-chief of Runway magazine, everybody is in a hodgepodge of activity where they set themselves to. Yeah, I guess she's scared of Miranda Priestley as well. Everybody's in a hodgepodge of activity to prep themselves and get ready to impress their boss. And train of thought. But then the moment where the elevator doors open and she takes off her glasses, that's the moment where she basically kills the role from that first second onto the end. And she's a very complex character as we see underneath that cold surface. And Yeah, and then the ending is quite earnest as to what happens to her and also to Andy, played by Anne Hathaway. So, yeah, this is a great performance in a very good movie, and The Devil Wears Prada. I'm going to nominate that movie.
No, Chris, your dog seems to have a lot of opinions, but what do you think about The Devil Wears Prada?
This one movie, my movie showed to me why we were dating. I loved this movie. I think it was a movie that told me about Meryl Streep a little bit, that she is an incredible actress. I saw she great, Emily Blunt really great, and it's only two. She is so good in this movie.
Yes.
Same Anne Hathaway. I love this film. I think that for me, top tier Meryl Streep performance that did for me the most. And yeah, a huge yes for me. Right.
And Emily Blunt killed it.
But Stephen, if you're not frozen, what do you think about Devil Wears Prada?
Take your time, Stephen. Take your time. Yes or no?
I don't love it as much as you guys probably do, but I'll still give it a yes.
Stephen, try and jump in on your phone, see if your phone is better to you than you.
Okay, here's the problem with that. I did not know that the internet was going to be this bad. Consequently, my phone is currently at
1%.
Not that far off, 14%.
Okay.
Although, to be fair, you managed to get a whole sentence out, so it might actually just the hit. So yeah, you can say here, but yeah, I'm going to say yes to Devil Wears Prada. I think Devil Wears Prada is really good, and yes, so I think she was also nominated for this as well.
Yes,
right.
She was.
Yeah.
She was.
Richie, what do you say about Devil Wears Prada?
Yeah, absolutely. I would have said yes as well. I think I think she kills in the role. Makes it her own. Yeah. Makes it her own.
Even in the new me with that, right?
But yeah, and I think it's one of the more memorable performances, and that says a lot in a storied career like Meryl Streep. But yeah, I think it's wonderful. So yeah, I mean, I would have brought it up eventually if no one else had. So yeah, I would say yes.
Stephen, nope. Chris, what is the next movie you're going to bring up?
I am going to bring up a film that I also watched for the first time this week. A film that a certain Mr. Boatman would be happy to bring up. I'm going to bring up one of her very first roles. I think on the list of my very first roles she had. Defending Your Life, the Albert Brooks movie. This is a film that I am very late to the party to. Multiplayer been, T-Tank Dummy did down my try every time I watch this show, but it's a really great movie with Albert Brooks. He's someone who died in a car accident, gets sent to the city called Judgment City, where they determine your lifespan, your fears and such, and if you pass, then you move on, and not you get sent back. Meryl Streep plays his love interest. Their romance is really cute, good, very cute in the movie, very funny. She's not in a lot, but they're not for her that I want to be up here. I think Rick Torn is phenomenal as Albert Brooks' lawyer. Everything with the two of them is really funny. And it also thought-provoking. The idea of, fear of being what judge your life, and, you don't pass, then you had to re-spend your life again and be judged again, I think. As a film, excellent. Great direction for Albert Brooks. Great writing. Meryl Streep, phenomenal to the film. You guys haven't seen Defending Your Life, please check it out. Thank you, Taylor Boatman, for recommending this to me.
Stephen, what do you say about Defending Your Life?
Sadly, unfortunately, this is another one I haven't seen.
I also haven't seen Defending Your Life. Richie, what do you say about Defending Your Life?
I say I haven't seen it, so I'm sorry, Caro. Is it worth putting in the list because I haven't seen it?
It's so good.
This was in my top 3.
Oh my god!
That hurts me. That's why it hurts me. That's why I was reacting the way I was reacting.
In my top 3 as well.
It's look. I'll say this. Somebody else had introduced this movie to me, and it was Peggy Gubbins, and she was raving about this movie constantly, and she recommended it to me, and I loved it, and I rented it, and it was very lovely and a very unique way of approaching the afterlife, and also a romance in the afterlife. Is there potential romance in the afterlife? And it's sweet, it's funny. The way they make fun of how the afterlife is built up. I mean, it's like a hotel, and the one thing that we can be worshipped is if we eat and we do not gain any weight at all. I mean, he basically eats a big breakfast and just doesn't gain any weight.
Yeah,
But
without going to spoil the Italian restaurant scene, it's so freaking funny. Like
Italian, I thought it was Japanese.
no, the other restaurant he go over here later when he
Yeah,
spaghetti and all of that. Like
yeah.
You want some steak? Take it with you.
But also, look, I'll say this: it's gonna probably. I made a top 100 list, and this was in my runners up, and it's definitely rewatchable, and it is a lovely, lovely movie. It's available on Criterion, and if you want to check it out, but please watch this movie. I mean,
all right, that's all right.
It's a really good romantic comedy.
And now getting me into watching Albert Brooks directing the movie. Now, thank you.
So I can almost guarantee the first movie I bring up is no one's going to have seen. But Stephen, what's the first movie you're going to bring up?
I think maybe I should switch to my phone and just once it dies,
Say the title.
That'll be it. Say the title.
Just say the title.
You know what? I'll go with what my name is. Who'da thunk? Meryl Streep, action hero. But I love her in The River Wild. And The River Wild is a really good, solid action adventure. Great performances also from Kevin Bacon and John C. Reilly playing a bad guy. I mean, and David Strathairn as the estranged workaholic husband. So yeah, I really enjoyed. Directed by Curtis Hanson, who also did L.A. Confidential. So I really enjoyed The River Wild. So that's the one that I'm going to bring up first.
Yeah, I haven't seen The River Wild. Richie, what do you say about The River Wild?
I do really like it. Yeah. I don't know if I'd put it like in my top, but I do like it a lot. It's hard. It's not like one I immediately thought of. I'll say yes and leave it to the two. That's not like a hearty yes.
Jonathan, what do you say about The River Wild?
I've never seen it.
No.
Chris, what do you say about
I also never seen it, and they didn't heard about it till today
Didn't
because
matter.
like whenever I picture Meryl Streep with it did not pop up to me.
Yeah, I heard about it, but it just.
I would think a completely different John C. Reilly movie.
So for the first movie I'm going to bring up is called Suffragette. This is a British movie. It's about the suffragette movement and all that. And it's got like Carey Mulligan, Helena Bonham Carter, Meryl Streep, Ben Whishaw, Brenda Gleeson's in this. But it's a really good story. But basically the plot is talking about how the suffragettes kind of gave women the vote and it leads and it's just one of those ones that is just a story just seeing like three different women who's kind of going through this whole movement and just showing how each of them kind of helped bring this movement to life and eventually give women the vote. And just fun fact, it was actually the first movie ever to be shot in the Houses of Parliament. So yeah, but Richie, have you seen Suffragettes?
I have. It's decent. Again, I don't know if I would. Yeah, I'm glad you brought it up, but it's not like something I tend to go back to. It's not like only a kind of a recent watch in the last couple of years. She's really good in it. There are others that I kind of want more, and I think we can get to 12 without putting it on there. So I'll say no, but I'm not overly upset if it gets me. Yeah.
Jonathan, what do you say about Suffragette?
I've seen it a long time ago. When it came out, and I'll be honest, it was all right, but I think it's kind of against her favor because she's not in the movie that much. She's like in there for like less than 5 minutes or something like that. Because I remember she's not in it, and I heard that was a big fuss about. Oh, Streep's going to be in it, great, and then everybody was disappointed. It's like, that's it. Streep's in the movie for that long. That's it. That 1 or 2 scenes. But I'll be honest, it was okay. It's not one that, like Richie said, I'll revisit. But I think there's a better movie about this subject out there. Because it is important. But it was a good call, but unfortunately it's going to be a no for me.
Chris, what do you say about Suffragette?
I kind of remember seeing this when I used to work at the movie theater and we had to walk in and out. It did get a no for me. I saw it, just haven't seen all of it enough to give it a use.
And Stephen, what do you say about Suffragette?
So I knew you loved this movie because I remember I think it was in your top 64 on tournament fights. But I couldn't find it to stream anywhere, so I haven't seen it.
Me neither. Rewatch.
Well, here goes my number one.
Really?
But,
and she's in it for
I loved it.
Wow.
Hey,
Less than 5 minutes.
When I do my ranking, I rank them based on the movie, not how much time she's in the.
I mean, there is one movie of hers that I don't know if I'll bring up. That even though I love it, she's in it very little.
I might bring up too. Maybe
anyway.
Another one.
But anyway, Richie, what is the next movie you're going to bring up?
I'm going to bring up another one. Like she's nominated heaps of times, but I'm gonna, obviously throughout her career, I'll nominate one that she was nominated for in '96, I believe, and that is Bridges of Madison County. Bridges of Madison. I think she's really good. There's this, sort of war bride has this, affair with this National Geographic journalist in Clint Eastwood. I think they're really, really good chemistry, and yeah, I think it's a really engaging film, and I think she deserved the best Oscar nom. Hell, I could see her winning it, and yeah, I think it's a really good film that holds up. So, I don't know where it would rank in the in the Meryl Streep performances for me, but I think it deserves to be mentioned. So I'll pump for it. Bridges of Madison County.
Mm-hmm.
Jonathan, what do you say about Bridges of Madison County?
100% yes. It's a lovely performance from Mrs. Streep. I think it is a great performance, a great movie. Not one that you see on Eastwood's filmography that is against, the type of movies that Eastwood makes and is in. He's in like action films, crime films, westerns. But this is one of those rare birds in which he's in a romantic drama, and he and Streep have great chemistry. And it's basically a slow, gradual buildup from a friendly conversation between two strangers to an affair between two lonely people. Like one is in a lost marriage, and the other has had experience with marriage, but and also with women around the world. And it leads to a sad yet honest conclusion that actually could, get you to cry a little bit with a great score. So yeah, 100% yes. Great pick.
Chris, what do you say about the Bridges of Madison County?
I seen the musical. I haven't seen the movie. The musical.
Whoa! There's a musical?
Yeah.
I didn't even know it was a musical.
Yeah, the Barbie musical with the guy from Rescue Me in it.
I'll look it up later.
Yeah, it's actually good.
How can you, two
You mean
people.
Dennis Quaid?
Yeah, Kelly
Dennis
O'Hara.
Quaid.
No, Kelly O'Hara and the I forget the actor name. Steven something from the rest of me.
Okay.
Like,
I'll
really
be
good musical,
I'll
but
be right back.
yeah. I just haven't seen the movie. I just didn't realize until it was based on the movie until I was looking at filmography. There's lots to watch I never seen before. I just didn't get around to watching.
Stephen, what do you say about the Bridges of Madison County?
Yeah, I would say yes. I think it's a really good movie. I remember rewatching it for, I think when we did Clint Eastwood, right? And it's honestly, if I were to, I would say not as great as I remember it being, but still really good. And I always enjoy Clint Eastwood's unhurried, deliberate pacing, and great cinematography, and both Streep and Eastwood are both really good in it. So yeah, I'd give it a yes.
Just reading up about Bridges of Madison County because I wanted to find out about this musical, but I couldn't. But
Stephen Pascal for rescue me, but the actor that we mentioned. Really good thing.
But I did find it out an interesting fact about it though, because apparently when it was first released, the MPAA initially gave the movie an R rating for the line, "Or should we just fuck on the linoleum one more last time?"
Yeah, I heard that.
But then Clint appealed, and then it was reduced to PG-13.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do really like this movie, and it's going to be a yes for me. So Bridges of Madison County does make this list. But
I love how I managed to surprise you guys when I mentioned musical.
I mean, there's a musical about The Color Purple, which I'm still shocked every time I say that sentence.
Well,
And I did
isn't there a movie about the musical coming out this year or something?
Yeah. But Jonathan, what is the next movie you're going to bring up?
Okay. Yeah, you know what? It's not, I don't want to call it a small part because she's prominent in both existence and presence. And you know what? I'll nominate this movie because I love this movie to pieces. It's one of the recent modern classics, in my opinion, Little Women. So she's basically the stern aunt.
Josephine.
Aunt Josephine, yes, she's the stern aunt. No, Aunt March. Aunt
March.
Yeah. She's basically one of the matriarch in which she sets a high standard for which all the girls of the March family, does their own thing. She frowns upon Joe's, Beth's, and Meg's prospects, but her only hope and opinion was Amy's prospects. They have opportunity to maintain the March name. So yeah, her performance is great. I mean, she is in the movie enough for this movie to be nominated, and she does deliver a very great, underrated performance. I mean, this is a great ensemble, and it's a lovely film that many people could see more than once in a year. And Greta Gerwig's Little Women from 2019.
But Chris, what do you say about Little Woman?
Hell yeah, for me, I love this film. This is my favorite movie for Greta Gerwig so far that she directed. I think it's beautiful acting, beautiful story. I love the change they made to the end. I think it's very, done in a good way that doesn't feel woke or anything. I think Meryl Streep is great in the movie. I see she's very funny in the thing she in. I see Lily fantastic. Florence Pugh should have won the Oscar that year for the role. And Search of Wonder fantastic. A huge yes for me. Just one of the best adaptations of a book the last couple of years.
Stephen, what do you say about Little Women?
I know I'm probably going to be the dissenting vote, but the movie's fine. I don't dislike it, but I just like the '94 version with Winona Ryder more. I just thought that version was better, and this was fine. This is okay, but I never loved it as much as most people. So even though I'm sure I'll be outvoted, I'm going to say no.
Where is your soul?
I am proud to say I am most people because I love Little Women. But yeah, it's great, and I think Meryl Streep is really good in the movie. I know Dan really disagrees with us, but I'm saying yes to Little Woman. Richie, what do you say about Little Woman?
Well, Dan Skip Allen. I am. I'm.
Yeah.
He's okay in Little Woman. Well, yeah, no. Well, I yeah, like she you know, like Jonathan said, she's not like in it a lot, but I think, you know, I think there's a case to be made if the person's not commanding enough presence in a movie and it has a significant role, then they should make the cut. And I think in this case, to make the cut, I think she's pretty good, and Little Woman is really good. It's a recent watch for me too, so yes.
I'm not gonna lie, I really wanted to be Snake. He's like, well, I bought it stuff for you, but I really can't do it to Little Woman.
No.
But Chris, what is the next movie you're going to bring up?
I don't bring up what I think is her, to me, her best performance I've ever seen her give anything. It's Doubt. I think it is a performance that is so well done and playing such unlikable character, but she does it in a way that you don't know who to root for between her and Phyllis Seymour Hoffman. And the whole story, I mean, Viola Davis, phenomenal. Her only my 5 to 10 minutes thing she in. Amy Adams, fantastic. Phyllis Seymour Hoffman is probably one of his best performers too. Yeah, this is a great movie dealing with a very sensitive issue with the church and, you know, people like the boys thing. It's such a good movie. I think she gave probably her best of her career in this movie. And the thing with her Phyllis Seymour Hoffman in the end, the confrontation moment, if one needed more, well acted, well written scene in a Meryl Streep movie. That intensity watching Joe two go at it, and you don't know who to believe in the matter. I had to mention Doubt.
Stephen, what do you say about Doubt?
Oh, it's definitely a yes. It's definitely a great movie, and the performances from not just Streep and Hoffman, but also Amy Adams and Viola Davis, all fantastic. I haven't seen it in a while, but I do. But it is great. So I would definitely say yes.
Yeah, I also haven't seen Doubt in a while. I do like it's not my personal top 12, but I kind of knew that if I was going to probably say yes if it was a little bit outside it too. Besides, my number one was Dismissed. So Doubt is just outside my top 12, so I'm going to say yes. Richie, what do you say about Doubt?
Yeah, I would have brought this up eventually. This movie's fantastic. Yeah, I think she's really good. Yeah, but Viola Davis and Amy Adams really good. But yeah, I think she's one of her better performances. Yeah, I don't really have much to add, but yeah, it's fantastic. So yeah.
And Jonathan, what do you say about Doubt?
I apologize. I was fixing something down in the computer. This is in my top 12. This is a really good movie. Not a movie that I would revisit though, because the subject matter is really dark and bleak. But the performances are fantastic all across the board. Streep, Amy Adams, Philip Seymour Hoffman, Viola Davis. Screenplay and directed by John Patrick Shanley. who screenwrote Moonstruck. Yeah, this is a really good movie, and it's deserves respect on this list and for the performance and for the movie itself. So, yes.
That does make the list, and we go over to Stephen. What is the next movie you're going to bring up?
Okay, let's see. All right, I'll bring up I'll bring up One True Thing, which she plays mother of Renee Zellweger, and she's got cancer, and the husband is played by William Hurt. He recently passed away, I think, last year, right? But yeah, they're all great. Streep and Zellweger are, I think she was nominated for an Oscar. I can't remember if Hurt was.
She definitely was, but I
think she was.
Yeah, she was, yes, but I can't remember if Hurt was nominated or not. You know what I think it was? I think I remember Gene Siskel mentioning him for and that when they did their memo to the Academy episode, that he listed him as. But I don't. Now that I think about it, I don't think he was nominated. But it's a really great movie. If I was watching a movie for Mother's Day, One True Thing might have been one that I could have popped in because she plays a great mother role. So yeah, One True Thing.
Yeah, I haven't seen One True Thing. Richie, what do you say about One True Thing?
I guess maybe it'll come. Hopefully, I hope Kara's not mad at me because I haven't seen this either.
Jonathan, what do you say about One True Thing?
Yeah, this is one of the few Streeps I have not seen. I've heard of the movie. I've watched it on. I've seen the preview on in a VHS. Wow, old ages. Like Meet Joe Black, I think that was one of the previews, and it looked interesting, but I never got to it, so I have to abstain.
Chris, what would you have said about One True Thing?
I also had never seen it. And I only like hearing new movie and never seen it, but you got me interested a little bit in it.
But for my next movie I'm going to bring up another movie in which Meryl Streep and Stanley Tucci was in together. And I'm bringing up Julie and Julia. And like Meryl Streep is great as Julia Child, and this is one where it's kind of a biopic, but kind of not in a way, because it's like they delve into Julia Child's life, but it's also more about Amy Adams's character, sort of how using Julia Child's recipes to sort of because she wants to cook every recipe in their book. And it's just one of those ones. I think both Amy Adams and Meryl Streep was good. And it's just a really good movie. I think it's definitely deserves to be on this list. And just to entice Stephen a little bit more, it's got Chloe from 24 in it as well. Richie, what do you say about Julie and Julia?
Yeah, I think she's really good at the character work here. I think I think she really personifies Julia Childs. Yeah, she's got good chemistry with Amy Adams. Yeah, it's not one I go back to a lot, but it might be on the when we go to ranking, it might be on the lower scale. But I will say.
Jonathan, what do you say about Julie and Julia? So I rewatched this movie. She's great. She's great in this movie, no doubt. And the best part is her and Tucci's story. As for the movie, as we're talking about Meryl Streep movies, and I'm gonna probably be the dissenting opinion. I'm not as affectionate towards this movie as a lot of people. Well, most people are. The problem is that I did not buy as much passion for the Amy Adams' story. It's just write a blog, meals, eat meals from Julia Childs' book and type her experiences. Husband supports her. That's it. And also, I don't know how much money they have in their account, in their joint account, to buy that much expensive food, to cook that much. But and that was another problem. And I didn't love the endings to both stories. I felt like it was just, let's just put it up an ending. That's it. Let's move on. That's it. But this was tough. This is tough because I love Streep's story. It is a great performance, and I think she was nominated. You know what? She was nominated for all of her movies. I don't care. I don't know. I think for sure she was nominated for this role, and she deserved to be. But as a movie, I felt it was a little uneven, in my opinion. Even though the food is good, the movie it looks scrumptious. It's a slight no for me.
To be fair, food was a lot cheaper back in whatever than it is now. You would never be able to do Judy and Julia this day and age of how much food is.
They're bankrupt.
But Chris, what do you say about Judy and Julia?
This is a film that I've seen good amount of, everything, all of it, from whenever on TV. I liked it. I don't love it like a lot of people do. This film, I wanted to go back and watch this week, but didn't get a chance to. Yeah, a slight yes for me. Because I think her performance is really good, and the performance fantastic in it.
So, was it a yes, Chris?
Yeah.
I heard yes.
Stephen, what do you say about Julie and Julia?
I mean, you mentioned Stanley Tucci reuniting with those two, but also Amy Adams from Doubt.
Well, they're not in the same scene together.
Well, yeah, that's true. They don't spend. They don't. I don't think they have any screen time together actually. But I love the movie. And I loved both storylines actually. And so it's a yes for me.
So Julia is going to make the list. Just a quick here, Dan. The Julia Child stuff was the 60s, but the Amy Adams stuff, which is what we're talking about, the cooking all the dishes and that was early 2000s. But yeah, and I mean, she was good in it, but I do agree if Sandra Bullock won that year.
I would have taken Streep over.
Yeah, same.
You know what? She did another movie that year that I might bring up later on that I love even more, to be honest.
But anyway, moving on. Richie, we go back to you. What is the next movie going to bring up?
All right, I'll bring up a movie that you might not know what it is straight away because it's got a different title. But I'm going to bring up Evil Angels, aka A Cry in the Dark. This is obviously, I feel like almost it's important that I bring it up because I'm Australian, and obviously this was a big news story back in whatever the 80s. Obviously, if you're not in Australia, there's a woman, Lindy Chamberlain. She it made headlines that she was out camping with the husband and a baby, and she said, a dingo, that a dingo came and searched and killed a baby, but then because she was maybe a bit strange, the media didn't believe her and decided that to criminalize her and say that maybe she did something with the baby, and I think Meryl Streep just does a really good job here, and she's got and Sam Neill's really good in this film. But I think she does a really good job to play this emotion of this very I don't know, strange, but this very misunderstood woman, and this and she just really gets the nails the emotional beats of this character who's obviously very very kind of unfairly targeted and just wants people to believe her, and I think it's a very emotionally impactful movie, and it's very obviously it is very dark, so it's not like one you'd go back to. But I think her performance is great, and another one she obviously got nominated for an Oscar for because she's not going to get nominated heaps times, but it is really good. So I have to nominate Evil Angels, aka A Cry in the Dark.
Jonathan, what do you say about A Cry in the Dark, aka Evil Angels?
So Streep's performance is really good. She's definitely she plays a person in which she's both vulnerable, but also not as likable as you see in the eyes of the in what we see. Yeah, it has the famous line, Dingo took my baby, of course. So it starts out real well with the cinematography and the suspense, but the movie does drag in the second act to the climax, where the harassment and the harassment by the media is right there, and it just became repetitive for me. It's fine. I liked it enough. I wish it just could have been tighter, in my opinion. I mean, I do recommend it, but I don't put it up there with one of the best Streep movies. So I'm gonna give it a slight no.
Chris, what do you say about A Cry in the Dark?
I haven't seen it. I know the line pretty much. I just I always try to look at what people recommend to me, and I just skim over this from the list of Meryl Streep movie to watch for the first time.
Stephen, what do you say about A Cry in the Dark?
Yeah, I haven't seen this one either.
But yeah, unfortunately, it's not going to make the list. I have seen it. It's really good. I really enjoyed it. And in timing of release, this was released about 2 months after the Chamberlains were exonerated of all charges filed against them. But yeah, I really enjoyed this movie, and her nomination for Best Actress was well deserved. I don't remember who she was up against.
It's 87 or 88. That's the. Let me see. I'll check. It was what was the Jodie Foster accused here?
Yeah.
Which Foster was really good.
Yeah, I mean, once again, I haven't seen The Accused, so I don't have any sort of there, but
she deserved it for sure, the nomination.
Yeah. But anyway, Conduct is animate the list here. Jonathan, we go back to you.
Okay. I'm gonna make a blanket statement. If we do not have Sophie's Choice on this list, then I think we may need to start over because this is basically a must see, and if you see it just one time, it's okay, it's fine. Basically, it's about she works on her first novel, and it's like not her, but it's based on a writer that meets with Sophie and her lover Nathan, played by Kevin Kline, and we see the flashbacks as to when she was a Holocaust survivor, and it is disturbing to see her and her state grow more and more fragile. And once we see why, it is devastating. It is sad. And you know what it is. I mean, I think it's been done to pieces, picking, between two children as to who's going to go with her and also who's going to die. But it's a good movie, but her performance is one of the very best I've ever seen. I mean, she's that good. She deserved the Oscar, no doubt. Sophie's Choice.
Chris, what do you say about Sophie's Choice?
This is a film I wanted to see. I had a choice today between watching a film about divorce, film about the Holocaust, film about Vietnam, and I chose the divorce because I wanted at least something not heavy handled in the Holocaust of Vietnam.
You picked divorce. Okay.
And I looked at the running time for all of them, so I picked the shorter one. And
it was like you had a choice between that and It's Complicated.
But I want to see this. Something I just like. Holocaust is a really tough subject movie to watch, so I will get around to watching. I got that, and I think want to watch it. I'm planning to do watch it or stuff like that. It's like no for me, but it's something I've been wanting to watch for a while.
Well, you can't say no if you haven't seen it.
Well, I think I know what he meant, but anyways, Stephen, what do you say about Sophie's Choice?
Oh man, I had a plan today to watch 3 movies today. I'll see what the other 2 are if they're brought up. One of them I'm not even sure will even be brought up because I'm not sure if I doubt. I wouldn't be surprised if nobody thinks that's one of her best movies. But 2 of them, this one is one of them. But I did watch the clip on YouTube where she actually has to make the choice, and it's a pretty powerful scene. But I still have to ultimately abstain since I haven't seen the movie.
I am muting myself so I don't hear any spoiler. That way I'm muted to headphones.
So yeah, I said off air that there was a couple of big ones that I missed.
Oh my god!
Yeah, I've not seen Sophie's Choice, unfortunately. Richie, what do you say about Sophie's
I would have
Choice?
said yes. This is how we have to. I would have been in your corner. I thought Malcolm would be. I would have said absolutely yes. Oh man, that is.
Don't blame me. Don't blame me when it comes to
defending your life all over again.
Yes. Yeah, you're gonna get roasted in the book when the poll comes up.
I mean,
yeah.
Now you feel how me and Jonathan felt when you guys said you never seen Defending Your Life.
Oh, this is worse.
This one though.
To be fair, I don't think anyone's going to be upset about Defending Your Life making it, and I haven't seen it, so I can't.
Yeah, that's an
judge it on its merit. But I think this is one people are going to be sort of hoping it makes it. But anyway, unfortunately, it's not going to make the list. Chris, what is the next movie you're going to bring
I need
up?
to compose myself.
Okay, so I go for comedy or should I continue with the drama? I do. You know what? I do shoot my shot here. I do bring up an underrated movie. Her that thing is kind of similar to Kramer, but it kind of not about a couple of struggling with each other. But I think it's a great movie. I think it's very funny. I think her and Tommy Lee Jones are great in it, and she was very funny. Hope Spring. I think there's a film that is underseen by a lot of people. Very funny. The therapy stuff is really funny. See her Tommy Lee Jones does have really good chemistry together in film. And I see Crowell is very very disturbing. And I want to bring up something that not a lot of people mention, but a film that I actually like it. Hope Spring.
What movie was it? Sorry,
Hope Springs.
Hope Springs.
Yeah.
Stephen, what do you say about Hope Springs?
I swear I've seen a lot of Meryl Streep movies, even though I've said quite a few times that I haven't seen it. This is another one I haven't seen.
Yeah. First off, I tried to find it. It's not streaming anywhere for me, and the only copy that was there was at the library was taken out. So I had just.
If I had more time and didn't have to work, I probably would have seen it for this.
But anyway, moving on to Hope Springs. I did watch it for something different, but it just coincided this was coming up. But yeah, I enjoyed Hope Springs. It's good. I'm going to have to say no though because it's just not in the range where I would have suggested to it. So yeah, Richie, what do you say about Hope Springs?
Hope Springs is fine. It's good. They got Tommy Jones good chemistry, but it's not a top 12. So if we I'd say no.
Jonathan, what do you say about Hope Springs?
Sophie's Choice. Hope Springs. Actually, I do like the movie. I like Hope Springs. It's a good, calm movie. While I was a little disappointed while it wasn't as funny, I thought their dynamic between Streep and Jones were it was pretty interesting. And the scenes with them in the room with the therapist, Steve Carell, those are the best scenes in the movie. I think their interplay is quite well done. And it is an underrated movie that people should check out when it comes to Streep's filmography. But
the last time Tom Lee Jones was good in the movie in a while.
I'll think about it. But yeah, the movie was fine. It was all right. I would recommend it as like a streaming rental or something like that. But it did not reach like top 12 for me, so I'm gonna go no.
But Hope Springs isn't going to make the list. Stephen, we go back to you for your next nomination.
I'll go with one that I loved when I first saw it, but over the years I've grown to love it even more, and that's Adaptation. She plays the author of The Orchard Thief, which they want to turn into. It's a really funny and unique unique movie that then takes a wacky detour in the third act. I wasn't thrilled with that third act when I originally saw it, but I still loved the movie. But I've actually grown to appreciate it over the years, and Meryl Streep is great in the movie. It's another Oscar nomination, of course. But yeah, the movie's a delight, and she's great in it.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people have been telling me that I should check out Adaptation, but I have seen it though. But it's good. I wasn't as over the moon as other people are, but I am going to give it a slight yes. Richie, what do you say about Adaptation?
Yeah, man. Well, the story to this movie, the backstory to this movie is interesting because I think that Charlie Kaufman was tasked to adapt a book that he, and Spike Jonze, or whatever, deemed it unfilmable. So they just decided to make a movie about how hard it is to adapt the book. And then I love that with this movie. It's one of my favorite Nick Cage films. Yeah, and Meryl Streep is really good in it. It's in my 128 when I did tournament fights. And yeah, I mean, I would have brought this up eventually, but yeah, it's like I wasn't sure if it was going to be brought up, so I would have brought it up eventually. I think Meryl Streep is really good in it. I would say yes.
Jonathan, what do you say about Adaptation?
Well, I was on the Nicolas Cage episode. I said yes to that movie, and that Cage episode, and I will say yes to this movie. This is a great movie, weird movie, bizarre movie, funny movie, dark movie at times. Great movie, 100% yes.
And Chris, what do you say about Adaptation?
You're muted.
You're muted.
So I haven't seen it. My dad told me to not watch it for years, but I was planning to this week. That thing came up last minute. But yeah, I want to watch it. I like Charlie Kaufman as director a lot, and I like a lot of his work. So this is on my list after Kramer to watch that.
Charlie Kaufman didn't direct it; he wrote it.
Yeah.
But their Adaptation still is going to make the list. It's on to me. Maybe my next pick will get me in good graces with the chat. Probably mostly Dan is in there. But I'm bringing up the Iron Lady. Look,
God damn it, so many times.
Look, Meryl Streep was great as Margaret Thatcher in this movie, and I think, if I remember rightly, she won for the Oscar that year.
Yes, she did.
Unfortunately did. She unfortunately did.
And yeah, she was great, and she totally deserved the Oscar. But yeah, so yeah, I know when it was first announced that she was playing Margaret Thatcher, I was a little bit skeptical. but so she's fine, and I think it was a really good story and all that. But Richie, what do you say about the Iron Lady?
Yeah, I'm guessing from that response, I'm going to be in the minority. But yeah, I really liked her in the Iron Lady. I thought she was really good. Should she won? I don't know. I have to go through who was nominated that year. But I thought she was really good. Maybe the movie around it is not as great as it could have been, but I thought her performance was really good. So I would give it a yes.
Jonathan, what do you say about the Iron Lady?
You go for it, Jonathan.
Look, she's really good in the movie. I'll give her at least the nomination, but that movie was a slog. That it was so boring to me. I don't know why. Like for Margaret Thatcher to be boring, that is just inexplicable. I just because she's an interesting figure and an interesting character for sure. I will say this. I mean, Gillian Anderson did a very good job as Margaret Thatcher down. But Streep's performance is good. I'm going to say 100% no to this movie. Oof. This was a tough movie to get through.
But Chris, what do you say about the Iron Lady?
And you heard from me and Jonathan. I don't like this movie that much, honestly. I think she's okay in it. I think Broadbent gave a better performance in the film as husband. I think in the year that it should have gone to Viola Davis, Rooney Mara, and Michelle Williams that year, it kind of went to Meryl Streep instead. Yeah. But I think a fine film. I don't have a huge fashion fan like some people do. It's just wild God to me she won over Viola Davis, Rooney Mara, Michelle Williams, and Glenn Close that year because those are better performances, especially Viola Davis.
Are you the one person that's seen the movie Albert Nobbs at being close to John?
I've seen that movie. I have seen that one.
And all those performances are better than Meryl Streep's performance in the Iron Lady. Especially Viola Davis and Rooney Mara. Yeah, just you should know for me too.
Oh, that is a stacked category.
But Stephen, what do you say about the Iron Lady?
To be honest, I wasn't actually that thrilled about Michelle Williams' performance. If that was for My Week with Marilyn, right?
Yeah.
I wasn't.
Blonde?
I have not seen Blonde actually.
Okay.
I haven't seen the Iron Lady. It's interesting because you've got some people that like the movie a lot, and then you've got some people that don't like it a lot. So eventually, I'd like to see it just to make up my own mind, but I haven't seen it yet.
So unfortunately, the Iron Lady's not going to make this list. Well, there's two of her Oscar wins not making this list, which is great.
No, Kramer versus Kramer.
She won for Kramer versus Kramer.
Yeah, she won.
Okay, one of the Oscar wins then.
We should have been two of the three, but
yeah, Iron Lady should have made it.
No.
Anyway, Rich, what's the next movie?
All right, that was going to be on it, but I'll go this one again. Probably in more another one in the sense of maybe the movie as a whole isn't like wonderful, but and it shouldn't have probably won Best Picture in my opinion, but she's good in it. I'll go Out of Africa. I know, like I don't. Yeah, I think she's. I'm just going from street performances. She's good. I think I'm going to give it Carol and Elizabeth. So I'll just move on. But yeah, I have to go talk.
Jonathan, what do you say about Out of Africa?
Look, this was the Color Purple year, right? The Out of Africa Color Purple year.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't think it should have won Best Picture, but
No.
Even one
This
better.
was another one that was a slog. Streep's good as always. The biggest problem I had with it is that the chemistry between Redford and Streep did not work for me for some reason. I don't know. It's just something did not connect with me with that chemistry. It was really her and Klaus Maria Brandauer as her husband. I thought they clicked more for me, and I thought that was really well done. Look, Africa is gorgeous. The score is actually great. From John Barry, it is fantastic. But the movie, it is so long. It is boring. No. Yeah, this is definitely this is one of my least favorite Best Picture winners.
Chris, what do you say about Out of Africa?
Yeah, everybody who I know who's seen it, besides my mom who loved it, told me stay away for that, so I had to stay away just because of what I heard from a few other people. I've eventually watched it because my mom loved the movie for some reason. So yeah, no for me. Make sure my headphones so my mom didn't hear me say that.
Stephen, what do you say about Out of Africa?
Haven't seen it.
This is the other movie I considered probably one of the big ones I haven't seen. I just haven't got around to seeing it. I'll eventually get around to seeing it because I mean, when it comes to drama movies, I actually don't mind them if they're really slow movies. But yeah, it's definitely like one of these days I do hope to actually finish one of the many filmographies I've started on Letterboxd and actually see all the movies in it, but that's going to take a while if that's the case. So I think, yeah. But Jonathan, we go back to you. What is your next nomination?
Okay, I think Diaz is going to be happy for me to bring up this one because I know that he's an animated person. And I am going to bring up Fantastic Mr. Fox. Fantastic Mr. Fox, directed by Wes Anderson. This is an excellent adaptation from Roald Dahl about Mr. Fox being bored and planning a heist. If you think about it, it's the animated Ocean's 11. Mr. Fox planning a heist against 3 farmers, and then also the farmers retaliate and seeking revenge against his family and other animals, which is pretty hilarious. It is a brisk, nearly 90-minute animated delight with Clooney and Streep, who's quietly powerful as the Mrs. Fox. She's subtle, but she's definitely powerful over Mr. Fox. Like, she's the only one person who can dominate him. And yeah, she's fantastic. Clooney, Streep, Schwartzman, of course, Bill Murray, Owen Wilson, and in one scene, and Willem Dafoe. They're great. And yeah, shoot my shot for Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Chris, what do you say about Fantastic Mr. Fox?
And he took one off my list. I love Fantastic Mr. Fox. And no matter how many times I watch it, I never get bored of it. I see it funny. I see it quick. The camp song, it's always get stuck in my head at how funny that song goes. Yeah, Meryl Streep is great, and she had great chemistry with Clooney and voiceover animated. Like, their back and forth is funny. Her reactions to a lot of his stick is really funny, especially in the beginning. So a huge yes for me. I love this film. This is my top 5 favorite Wes Anderson movie.
Stephen, what do you say about Fantastic Mr. Fox?
I forgot that she was in it, but she's second billed. Wow, so I guess she has a big role in it. But yeah, this is another one I haven't seen.
How many
I've seen 25 Meryl Streep movies.
Keep going. I'm gonna lose it again.
Our 12th pick will be Ricky in the Flesh.
Didn't want to ever die on the cross but I hope we don't get there. So.
But so growing up, I read a lot of Rodale books, and Fantastic Mr. Fox was one of my favorite books growing up. I was actually disappointed by the movie, because they took a lot of the charm that I enjoyed out of the books. Well, yes, like the book itself wasn't that long, so they had to sort of add some bits in to sort of stretch it out a little bit. But I think by stretching it out, it just took away from the book a little bit. So I'm going to be no on this. Richie, what do you say about Fantastic Mr. Fox?
Yeah, no. I'll see sense, Caro. Yeah, I'll say yes.
Okay.
All
right.
I think I watched this for I think a match with me and Chris did, a teams match. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. I like the animation. Yeah, like like you said, I think Meryl Streep's really good at kind of being the only character that kind of lets that they can reason with Miss Fox, and get him to see and kind of ground him a little bit. But and I think the performance is subtle, but really, really good. And the movie's charming and one of his best ones. So yeah, absolutely yes. And
you gotta dance. Yeah.
But Fantastic Mr. Fox
That ending
is going to make Fantastic Mr. Fox is going to make the list. Chris, we go back to you for your next nomination.
They say the musical stuff for later. I don't go with you know what? I don't love the movie overall, but I think she does give a good performance. I'll say August Osteen County. Like, I think her playing the matriarch of the family, like the one that nobody liked, she played it in a way that sometimes does come out a little bit stereotype, but she does it in a funny. The writing is great, based on a play. Julia Roberts really good in it. Benedict Cumberbatch is phenomenal in the movie. I think him and Meryl Streep does have the two best performances in the film. Everybody gave a great performance, great script. Some unlikable character, but there's a lot of good twists and turns to it, especially with Cumberbatch that kind of make it interesting. And Meryl Streep deserved the Oscar nomination she got for it. I like this performance better than I only did the same decade they both came out. Like, so yeah, I'll take Counting. My pick.
But Stephen, what do you say about August Osage County?
Well, you chose one that I have actually seen, but I wasn't a fan of this movie because it's so messed up. I mean, the twist between Cumberbatch and Nicholson's character. Ugh.
Who wrote this script?
I just and I actually don't think it's one of Meryl Streep's better performances. I think she's actually a bit over the top. So I would personally say no.
Yeah, I mean, I like August Osage County. There's actually a really few amount of Meryl Streep movies I actually don't like. But yeah, it's just outside of my top 20 though, so I'm going to say no. Richie, what do you say about August Osage County?
Due to the ones we've sort of got left, I'd probably give it a slight yes, but it's not like high on my list. It's good. It's just Meryl Streep is over the top, but she's still good in it. In my opinion, it is messed up, but I do like it. So I'd say yes, but not like enthusiastically.
And Jonathan, what do you say about August Osage County?
Don't worry, it's not making the list, Caro.
I like that. You can just say yes, but not enthusiastic. I like that. I don't like this movie. You know what? I don't think Streep gives the best performance. I think Julia Roberts actually gives the best performance of the ensemble. I actually liked her a lot in a very different role. Yeah, the family. I think it's just one of the most unlikable families I've ever seen, and I just don't want to go back and revisit this family. It's like you open, that Community meme,
Yep,
where Donald Glover's character just opens the door and you see all these people in disarray and the apartment's on fire. That's basically me. When I open the door and I see this family and everybody's in disarray and everybody's on fire and fighting, and then I want to get the hell out of there. So. No.
But also Sarge Candy is not going to make the list, and we go back to Stephen.
All right, I'll go with. I don't know if I would say it's underrated because it got a slew of Oscar nominations. It just feels sometimes underrated, I guess, because I've heard certain people in this sphere not like it. But I think Steven Spielberg's The Post is actually quite riveting, and I think she's tremendous. She and Tom Hanks are both tremendous in this movie. It's a great ensemble cast overall. Great movie about journalism, and I loved it. So I'm going with The Post.
Yeah, I mean, I like Meryl Streep in The Post, but and I do enjoy the movie enough, but it's just outside of my sort of where I was going to say yes to, so I'm going to say no to The Post. Richie, what do you say about The Post?
Yeah, I like her performance. So the movie overall is not, doesn't do much for me. Yeah, so again, I'm gonna say no. It's not one of my, ones I go back to.
Jonathan, what do you say about The Post?
So since Sophie's Choice is not going to make this 12, and then The Post was next, and you know what? I liked her performance enough that she did deserve the nomination. And I like these journalism movies. I am a sucker for them. And although All the President's Men is the better movie about this subject, about the Watergate scandal or building up to it, I do give it a slight yes, because I think that this is an underrated film that, because it's Spielberg and Streep and Hanks, they have better movies on it. But it's one that people should watch and check out. Just to make a double feature with All the President's Men. And I think you'll get a heck of a good feature, because it's more personal towards her character and some other characters than it is about the scandal itself. So, yeah, I will give it a yes for The Post.
Chris, it comes down to you. What do you say about The Post?
I don't love her performance overall in the movie. I think Tom Hanks better. I think Bob Odenkirk is really good in the movie. And I think she got the reaction type in the movie more than everybody else. Especially that one scene where she made that decision. I think she's good. I just don't love her performance. I give her yes, because I think everybody else is script is good. I think the plot is really good. I think Tom Hanks is still good in the movie. Same with Bob Odenkirk. So a slight yes for me.
So The Post is going to make the list. It goes to me. I'm going to bring up a movie that I thought for sure Chris was probably going to bring up earlier, but I'm going to bring up Mamma Mia. Look, say what you want about Pierce Brosnan's singing. This is not a Pierce Brosnan list. I think Meryl Streep is great in the movie. I think because I know when she was cast, I wasn't too sure if she could sing, but she is a really good singer, and I really do enjoy her in the movie.
Yeah.
I do think the Mamma Mia is really good. While I do think the sequel is slightly better, Meryl Streep's barely in the movie.
Yeah.
So, Richie, what do you say about Mamma Mia?
I hate this movie. No.
Jonathan, what do you say about Mamma Mia?
What Richie said.
Chris,
I'm not going to waste my time. I'm just going to. The ABBA songs are great. Meryl Streep actually is great in it.
It's great, but the movie
but no.
I do hate this movie. If we come back around, I will mention the other one, Polly.
She's barely.
I think that better musical movie with Meryl Streep in it, and this is not one of them. And then one over Diana's Cross is if we come back around. So no for me. I see Prince Mom is bad. It's just none of it, but the sequel does a lot better what the first one could not do.
Stephen, what do you say about Mamma Mia?
I mean, I don't hate the movie, but I don't know if I would say it's one of Meryl Streep's 12 best movies either. So because of that, I probably would have said no. But I wouldn't have complained if it did make the list.
I would have.
I went to.
Oh,
Don't
yeah,
care how
got-
small.
Sophie's
I
choice.
don't care how small roles she. Okay, we get to it. We get to it.
Got 3 spots left. Richie, we go back to you.
I'm going to bring up one earlier one from the 80s. I'm surprised I mentioned yet. She's really good. Mike Nichols' film, Silkwood. I think she's really good in Silkwood. It's about a woman who works at this plantation plant, discovers corruption, and she's like she's a whistleblower for it, and she like sort of tries to does all she can to try and get people's attention to it, and then spoiler alert if you haven't seen it. Couple years, she mysteriously dies, and then it's sort of it spoils for there. She's really good. I think that this performance gets underrated sometimes. I don't think it gets talked about, but again, she definitely there's Oscar nom there, and she's really good. I think people need to talk about it. It's one I almost forgot about until I was just looking at them. So and I was like, but this is a really good film. So
Jonathan, what do you say about Silkwood?
So this is one of the few first-time watches these past few days, and while a little overly melodramatic at parts, it's a very good movie. It's a naturalistic portrait of life in the countryside, where prospects are very limited, and when she basically is a whistleblower against what she's going for against because of what she experienced or what she discovered about the fabrication of the fuel rods and false safety reports. The workers get concerned and they become a little hostile towards her. And I mean, hostile enough that somebody might have threatened her life with poisoning her. And it is kind of sad. But also the dynamic between her, Kurt Russell, and Cher, I bought them as friends. They do a very good job of portraying as characters that are not one-dimensional, but you just buy their friendship. Even though they're apart for a little time, they come back because Russell and Cher's characters, they back her up after discovering that she's poisoned. So this made the list, and I'm going to say yes to Silkwood. This is a very good movie. Good pick.
Chris, what do you say about Silkwood?
To take what Steven used to say, I haven't seen it, but there are a lot of movies I heard to watch, like how they pick and choose.
Stephen, what do you say about Silkwood?
Yeah, I have to make sure that since, as long as I'm working in a restaurant, I'm never going to have time to watch movies for a certain show. So when I say yes to the show, from now on, I have to make sure I've already seen lots of. I have seen lots of her movies, just not a lot of the big acclaimed stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those ones like I even tried to find a lot of her bigger movies for this, but like Silkwood was one I just couldn't find anywhere. Like,
I know
my library didn't even have it.
You know what? Actually, it is valid because it is very difficult to find on streaming, or actually, it's unavailable on streaming.
This one I watched a while ago. To be fair,
I had to find it like in a library. So unfortunately, I did, and it was on DVD. Good old DVD.
Yeah, I mean, my library didn't even have it. It is
very hard to find.
So unfortunately, Silkwood is not going to make this list. We move over to Jonathan.
Yeah. I'm actually not that angry about it because it is tough to find. Okay. Oh God, what do we have left? Okay, I'm gonna pick a movie that has grown on me, and for the first time I saw it, I was like, it was all right. Second time I saw it, I was like, okay, I like it. The third time I saw it, I was like, okay, this is funny. I'm gonna watch this movie probably either every Halloween or maybe every 2 years.
I know what you meant.
So I'm gonna nominate Death Becomes Her.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, it's not a movie that you re-nominate, but Death Becomes Her. It's dark. It's a dark comedy that it's just really just three people. It revolves around three people, and it's about Streep's and Han's characters going at it because of their beauty. And when Streep marries Bruce Willis's character, Gold, because Bruce Willis was with Goldie Hawn's character in the beginning, and then Goldie Hawn goes in a bit of a rut, and yeah, that way won't be treated fairly today, and will be frowned upon. But when Streep's character sees her, the Madeline Ashton sees Helen Sharp in like her youngest phase, she becomes jealous, and then she discovers a potion that makes her youthful. But they pay the consequences, and they have some unusual side effects. And it's up to Bruce Willis to treat them as best as he can. The visual effects are not that great, but it is a good movie. I laugh at this movie at times, actually more now than the first time I've seen it. And directed by Robert Zemeckis. And yeah, Death Becomes Her.
Chris, what do you say about Death Becomes Her?
I have not seen it. I took look at what like by people. I took what people say. Like, okay, I put that on the bottom of my list of stuff to watch from Ministry.
Stephen, what do you say about Death Becomes Her?
Please, let's see movies.
I have actually seen this. I love Robert Zemeckis. He's one of my favorite filmmakers. But I have this ranked. I don't know if I have it ranked at the very bottom or near the bottom of his filmography. It's been a while since I've seen it. I should probably give it a rewatch. But I remember thinking that it was okay. But
yeah, rewatch it because that was the same reaction I had.
Yeah, I mean, I do really like Death Becomes Her. It's definitely a different type of Meryl Streep movie that she's done. And looking at the list, we've got a lot of her more dramatic-y movies on here. So I think we've got room for a fun Meryl Streep movie. So I'm going to say yes to Death Becomes Her. Richie, what do you say about Death Becomes Her?
Well, that's sort of my reasoning too for maybe saying yes, because yeah, it's not only it's a different type of Meryl Streep movie, I think it's a different type of like Bruce Willis movie because he kind of looks like unrecognizable in this movie. You don't really, it's Bruce Willis, but yeah, and it's a really fun movie. I mean, I know Karen mentioned that like there's certain aspects maybe it wouldn't fly today, but I am surprised in the sense that this movie has been remade. It feels like a movie that's kind of ripe for a remake. I think maybe eventually will probably.
I thought that they were remaking it actually.
Maybe they have. I don't across
well, because I think Anne Hathaway's going to be the Meryl Streep role. I think.
Okay, fair enough.
They better get the Goldie Hawn one right.
I thought wasn't it like Kate Hudson or something?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I know there's been rumors of a remake.
Oh no.
Wait, I thought I remember, and I hearing something about Kate Hudson being in the remake of Death Becomes Her, and I thought it was funny since her mother is in the original.
True.
Yeah, I don't know.
Apparently, there was a Broadway musical of Death Becomes Her with Kristen Chenoweth.
Okay, that would be fun to watch. Actually,
there was what
musical.
Oh, musical.
Broadway musical with Kristen Chenoweth.
Oh, okay, that'd be all right actually. Oh, I could see that. But yeah, this is yes, this is fun. I think I nominated Death Becomes Her for something else. I think it was Bruce Willis movies. So it's the second time I nominated. The second time I haven't. Well, Karen nominated, but the second time it's been brought up when I've been on the show, and I said yes to it. Yes. Yeah.
If it were the first time I watched it, then I would have said no. But
yeah.
Then we down to 2.
Yep.
Should I shoot my shots?
Chris, what is your next nomination?
Okay, let me get to the musical stuff. So I went through the musical list of okay, try to take when she only had one scene of a movie, or when there's director choice impacted her second half of the movie. But I think go die on a cross. Take out the one problematic performance, kind of similar Mamma Mia did one problematic performance in this movie. But I think Meryl Streep is really freaking good in this movie. And I think she captured what the character is from the Broadway show. And she had great messages, really good cast, success in one performance. Comment me, all hate me. I didn't be out the prom. Like, okay, Dave Corden is bad. Dave Corden is bad in movie. Don't get me wrong.
No,
Take out. Yeah. Take out that thing. Take out some of the stereotype. I think Meryl Streep is good. Yeah, great chemistry with Keegan Michael Kay. I think when you rewatch the movie, that worked. The relationship between them and Melissa work really well, and I think the musical stuff is really good. The song is really good. I think a lot of people just hate on it a lot because they encourage some of the decisions that the movie make. I think when you talk about between this and some of her other musical choices, I mean, I could go with the other one, but it's just like the same situation where director choice hurts the film a lot in the second half. And if we get to it, we get to it. I just think Meryl Streep captured the human reality. Her song is great, Not About Me, A Lady in Preview are two really funny songs. And I think her relationship, despite the age difference with King and Michael Kay, is really good and really sweet and funny. I think the message is good. I think the movie get overhated overall. I think there's a lot of good aspects to this movie. Jane Connor is bad, but take one kind of similar performance. Take one performance out. When you look at everybody else delivering good performance, it's saying what is a pretty decent musical that the Broadway show is a lot better. So the Prom. There's not a lot of good choices for musical movies for Meryl Streep.
Stephen, what do you say about the Prom?
Haven't seen it. Not when he said that he was going to go with a musical, I thought he was going with something else, but I would have said no to that one too. But I haven't seen The Prom.
Which one is it? Oh, that one.
Okay. Yeah, The Prom is decent. I do enjoy. I probably do have it ranked higher than I probably should, because I do remember watching it. I was actually going to rewatch it for this because I don't remember why it ended up so high on my list to begin with. But my response to this is
no, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
Richie, what do you say about The Prom?
Okay, so that's a no yet, then, yeah? Is that a no?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, just trying to check. But you thought the movie was all right, but that's a vehement no. If you hated it, but anyway, if you hated it. No, it's not the one I thought you were going to bring up. That look, I admire your swing for the fences, but this movie sucks. So no.
If we get up to the other one, I will bring it up. It's just like I have an issue with the other one for reason.
Jonathan, what do you say about The Prom?
James Corden is not the only reason why I say no to The Prom. There are numerous reasons, and no, I'm not going to waste my time. I have nothing.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those ones like, well, yes, I do think it's all right. That's the only clip I've got that's no. So it's like,
you don't have a clip.
But I mean, it's just, but it's also one of those like, I really don't remember it since it's been out. I actually did like James Corden's performance, and that's what I remember it. I don't get why all the hate. There's all the hate. But Stephen, what is your next nomination?
You know what? I'll go with one that I think is underrated. That I'm not a huge rom-com guy, but I thought this one was really funny, and she gets to be really funny in this, and she has great chemistry with Alec Baldwin and Steve Martin, and I absolutely loved. It's complicated.
Yeah. I also really enjoyed It's Complicated more than what I expected. But it's just a really fun, and I'm a really big sucker for rom coms, especially if you've got Steve Martin or Alec Baldwin or Meryl Streep in it. And this one had all three, but it's and yeah, it's just a movie that I love to I go back to a lot. So it's a yes. Richie, what do you say about It's Complicated?
Yeah, it is a movie that I think I.
Oh, come on.
What a passive aggressive. What a. Yeah. Anyway, that's.
What? No love for the post, or what else did I? Or adaptation, or
Yeah. But yeah. I like this movie more than I thought I would too. I think it was just a movie that I saw because it was at the theaters at the time, and then I was like, oh, well, check this out. Yeah, it was fun. It was charming. So I would say yes.
Jonathan, what do you say about It's Complicated?
This is complicated. So I am a Nancy Meyers fan, and yeah, I adore her movies. I adore her, her looks of, the kitchens and all that stuff, all that foreplay between certain characters. Boy, this is tough because Streep. Actually, I do like her performance. Streep is pretty good, and it does have some funny rapport with Baldwin, Steve Martin. Yeah, Martin in the straight role. You don't see him play as comically as he does in other movies. And also with John Krasinski, when Krasinski gets involved, I like that scene the most, because when Krasinski finds out about the affair or the hookup, it's funny. Boy.
Yeah,
I need to think about this one. Come back to me. Let's see what Chris says.
Chris, what do you say about It's Complicated?
I like this movie. It's been a long time since I've seen it. For stuff I remember, it did make me laugh. Be down to 2. I doubt the one that everybody did be pissed off in the comments we didn't mention. We brought up. I give it yes.
All right, I would have given it a slight no, a slight no. It was like the slightest of no, because look, while the movie is not as memorable, it does make me hungry. I mean, the bakery scenes are really good. So, hey.
But yeah, if that It's Complicated does make the little list, one spot is left, and it is on me. There's a few that I do want to bring up, but it's probably going to be she's only a small part in the movie, or most people haven't seen it. So, I'm going to try my luck with this one and see what happens. But basically, the movie is called Before and After. It's basically the plot is about these two parents who must deal with the after effects when their son is accused of murder. And you've got Meryl Streep with Liam Neeson as the parents, and they're the fathers of John Connor from T2. And you've also got like Alfred Molina, who I think is, and John Hurt in this movie as well. But this is a really interesting story of sort of this family who kind of has this big like drama. Try not to say too much about it because I don't want to spoil too much about it as well. But but it's just one of those ones like this girl gets killed, and like witnesses saw their son with her before they died, and, but it's just one of those ones that it's really interesting. And if you haven't seen it, I recommend you go see it. It's one of the weird movies that's on Disney Plus in Australia and New Zealand. But yeah, so Richie, what do you say about before and after?
I haven't seen it.
Jonathan, what do you say about before and after?
Haven't seen it. Yeah, this is one of those underrated movies that I was like, huh? What is this? So I'll check it out.
Oh shit, I found one Dan hasn't seen.
Yeah.
Chris, what do you say about before and after?
I haven't seen it either, but now you have me interested. Like the fact that Disney put it in Australia on this thing.
Stephen, have you seen before and after?
You know, the funny thing is, I have.
All right.
Nobody else except you, obviously, has seen this, and this is one I actually have seen. But it's been a long time since I have seen it. I remember being kind of disappointed with it, even though both Neeson and Streep are excellent in it. So because of that, I probably would have gone with a slight no, but it's one I should rewatch.
Richie, we've got one spot left. What are you going to bring up?
Oh my god, I don't even know anymore. Hang on.
I got like one or two tricks up my sleeve.
The one actually probably nobody brought up. Yeah.
Hang on. Give me a second.
There's actually a couple.
Actually, I made a slight reference to it earlier that I haven't seen, but I know a lot of people liked.
I'll shoot my shot. See, shoot my shot. I don't know. Like, I can't remember like how much she's in it, but so yeah. But like, you know, it's a great movie. I haven't watched it in a long time, but I'll go for a role in The Deer Hunter. But yeah, I don't like it as many as much as other people, but like she's in it. I think she does a good job. Yeah, sorry, I'm kind of scrounging for picks now, but yeah. So, I think it's worth bringing up. It is a good movie, and she's good in it. So yeah, but it's not someone I immediately think about when I think Deer Hunter, but she's good. So yeah, I'm not selling it really well, but yeah.
Jonathan, what do you say about The Deer Hunter?
Okay, you know I'm a De Niro fan. I have not gone into this movie yet. I know this is like one of the big ones, the big blind spots for me. And it won Best Picture, but I do remember she's in it enough. She got nominated for supporting actress, I think. So, but it's more about the De Niro and walking in the war itself. But and I know the wedding is really long, so I guess she's in it actually enough. So I have to abstain because I haven't seen it.
Chris, what do you say about The Deer Hunter?
Then for the one I made slight mention to earlier, I have not seen. I look at what to watch, and if we have running time, like I saved this for the weekend when I had to watch more Meryl Streep movies. Yeah, I need to see this. It's on my blind spot. But from what I heard about it, and I seen little clips here and there, it's good for watching. I had to see more just to get first, just like that for me.
Stephen, what do you say about The Deer Hunter?
I think it is a bit sluggish in the first hour, but once they get to Vietnam, it's absolutely fantastic, and the Russian roulette scenes are among the most intense ever. So I think it's a good movie. So I would say yes.
Yeah. I watched The Deer Hunter for this. And yeah. It's definitely long, that's for sure. But it's good, and I do think Meryl Streep is good in it. Just because I think we'll give Dan an Enrams if you start nominating stuff like Mary Poppins Returns and stuff like that. I'm going to give this a yes.
Thank
Just
God.
that's just
Thank
slightly.
God.
It's over.
Yeah,
It's over.
Hunter is going to make the list.
All right.
I have one more thing on my list, like they probably get shot and everything else. Like maybe, nope.
No, that's
But,
over. It's over. That's it.
Yeah.
But anyway, Jonathan, what are some honorable mentions that you had?
All right. That was. I knew this was going to be a fight. I didn't think it was going to be this long of a fight. All right. So I had a couple of tricks up my sleeve. So one that I'm surprised not many people seen or brought up is Postcards from the Edge. Her and Shirley MacLaine, based on the relationship between Carrie Fisher and Debbie Reynolds. That's a very good movie. I did like I like her section in Lemony Snicket's a series of.
I thought about bringing that up, but I'm like, yeah.
So, yeah, her section's pretty good. Yeah, The Hours is good. It's fine. And there's one more. I had it. I did like Marvin's Room. Yeah, I liked it. It's basically a small family fable about her being in need of a bone marrow transplant because her sister has leukemia, and plays the mother of Leonardo DiCaprio, and Diane Keaton plays the sister. So, that's it. That's pretty much it.
Chris, what are some honorable mentions that you had?
Let me think of one of them. I mentioned to Worst Case Birthday. Mamma Mia 2 I would have brought up because that's much better Meryl Streep, Mamma Mia Mary than the one I made slightly mention to, I think is the movie that was just hurt by the director of Disney choice to edit it down a little bit. Into the Woods, I think she just gave a great performance in the first half. And then when they decided to change that to, it does hurt a lot of her character. And her character does some great stuff in the musical version. And then, Mary Poppins Return of Light, but she's not in it enough. And everything else is just like stuff here and there, that like little stuff. I happy nobody brought up Don't Look Up or any of the crappy stuff that came out later.
Okay. Well, you're gonna miss
Yeah. Even though I like the Laundromat, the one she did with Antonio Banderas.
Therefore, you just said we're glad no one voted about anything crappy. Stephen, what are some honorable mentions you had?
Well, you don't see her play villains very often, and so I thought it was entertaining watching her play a villain in the Manchurian Candidate remake.
I need to rewatch that one.
Yeah. Let's see. Also, she's not very nice in Rendition, which I think is a really good movie too. And the one movie that I think it's a fantastic movie, but it's almost a cameo, I think, from what I remember, is AI, Artificial Intelligence.
Nope.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of big name actors that are basically cameos. Because I think AI came up on our door list that we did a few weeks ago as well.
Yeah, but Jude Law actually has a real role in that movie.
Yeah, still basically a small role. I mean, it's just it's for me, I really do enjoy Mary Poppins Returns. And as I said when I brought up stuff, it's like for me when I do my list, I go based on the movies. I was actually close to bringing out Mary Poppins Returns. And I actually really enjoyed her very first movie, which is called Julia. I think that's a really underrated movie that she's done. And yeah, I think the other one is another one that I don't know if many people have heard of, but it's called House of the Spirits. It's Meryl Streep and Antonio Banderas, and I want to say it's also in it. But it's just really interesting movie. But yeah, Richie, what are some honorable mentions that you had?
The only other one I was going to bring up, and yeah, I clearly like it more than other people in this community. I didn't mind Don't Look Up. I thought she was good as like the kind of like clueless. Yeah, shut up, Chris. The clueless, the kind of the proper, the corrupt sort of Trump-esque kind of lady, and I think she played off well with like Jonah Hill and that. I thought just one, and like her death at the end of the movie is great.
Yeah, the death is pretty good.
Her death is really funny. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those ones like I really wish like we were going to no one asked, but the miniseries she was in Angels in America is really good.
That is good. Yeah, that is a really good. I wish it were in contention, but it is a miniseries. So.
I mean, if someone asked, I probably would have said yes, but no one asked. So, although that's also one of those ones I remember watching a long time ago at school. I just haven't seen it since. Some that have been mentioned in the chat. Postcards from the Edge. Music of the Heart. Something called Iron Reed. Heartburn.
I wasn't a fan of
we joked about it beforehand, but someone did mention She Devil.
I feel like they're just mentioning movies that are on his filmography. She Devil sucks.
No.
Never
heard of that.
Yeah, and the French.
I heard of that one.
Yeah. But now we get to the fun part, which is ranking them. Just to recap, was on the list. We've got Kramer versus Kramer, Devil Wears Prada. I don't know which end that is, but if they can mute your mic. Maybe it's Stephen.
It was Stephen.
Yeah. I don't want to do that, but never mind. But now we get to the fun part of ranking. Just to recap what we've got. We've got Kramer vs. Kramer, Devil Wears Prada, Bridges, Madison County, Little Women, Doubt, Julie and Julia, Adaptation, Fantastic Mr. Fox, The Post, Death Becomes Her, It's Complicated, and The Deer Hunter. So we write down what we want at 12. Richie, what do you have for 12?
I have The Post because I don't like it as much of that.
Jonathan.
It's Complicated.
Chris.
I also had a person. She is okay. The movie better around her, but her my least favorite from there.
Stephen, what do you have for 12? And I also put The Post.
Fair enough.
Also, don't forget you muted, Stephen. I saw your board, but you muted.
Okay. I don't know if my board was even seeable because I've never done this with my phone.
Post in the 12. But Jonathan, what do you have for 11?
It's Complicated.
Chris.
Death Become Her.
Stephen.
Sticking with Death Becomes Her.
Fantastic Mr. Fox. Richie.
Put Little Women just because of her small role.
But it's going to be Death Becomes Her.
Alright, I'm going to check this in.
But Chris, what do you have for
The Bridge of Madison County?
Stephen?
I don't know. Do this. Little Women.
Sticking with Fantastic Mr. Fox. Richie.
Change it to It's Complicated.
Jonathan.
It's basically up to me. It's Complicated.
ranking is complicated sometimes.
This one is complicated. This one is.
I think my number one didn't even make the list with Defending Life.
Yeah, that one hurts. That one hurts.
Stephen, what do you have for 9?
Sticking with Little Women.
Sticking with Fantastic Mr. Fox. Richie.
Little Women.
Jonathan.
Deer Hunter.
The Bridget in Madison County.
But Little Woman is going to be 9.
Ouch.
Ouch.
A little low for me, but
I mean, based on the reasoning for voting it that low, I don't mind it too much, but it does hurt.
yeah.
But for 8, I've got Fantastic Mr. Fox. Richie.
Julie and Julia.
Jonathan.
You know, I'm switching. I'm gonna pick Julie and Julia. Yeah.
The Bridget in Madison County.
Stephen.
The Devil Wears Prada.
Ooh,
No. Julia.
No. No. You're gonna be having that for a while.
Hell no to the no there.
I like the movie, I just don't love it.
But Jonathan, what do you have for 7?
Okay, so let me see what we got left.
We've got.
Let's go Deer Hunter. The Deer Hunter.
Same thing.
Chris.
Bridget in Madison County. That thing.
Stephen.
I'm sticking with Devils Wear Prada.
I'm sticking with Fantastic Mr. Fox. Richie.
Deer Hunter.
Wow! Ouch.
No,
You know what? This is not very common.
More of a De Niro. It's a De Niro film.
Yeah,
It's a
there
De
you go.
Niro.
That's why, actually.
Yeah.
This is very uncommon. Richie and I are kind of on the same wavelength tonight. Very uncommon. Okay, this is tough for me now.
I mean, you say it's a De Niro movie, but I think you can make a strong case also for Walken.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those ones like, well, I did enjoy the movie. Like, watching it, like, Meryl Streep was not in that a lot, even though she had a big segment in the movie, but it was a 3-hour movie, so a big segment is still not a lot. Chris, what do you have for 6?
Bridget in Madison County.
Stephen.
I'm still sticking with Devil Wears Prada.
Yeah, I'm sticking with Fantastic Mr. Fox. Richie.
Adaptation.
Jonathan.
I have a different thing, but I'm going to change to something else. This is going to hurt. I'm going to... You know what? Let's make it interesting. Kramer versus Kramer. Go chat.
Whoa!
So
It's
chat,
number
we've got
6.
a 5 So we've got Fantastic Mr. Fox, Adaptation, Bridges of Madison County, Devil Wears Prada, and Kramer versus Kramer. Which the first comment I see will be the one that decides what goes. First one that showed up was Leo, and it was Fantastic Mr.
That hurt.
Thank God, since Dan went with Adaptation.
Boo.
Well, and the Fantastic Mr. Fox being picked.
That was my number 2.
Actually, yeah, hang on.
That name number 4 or 5.
I keep accidentally erasing this. I don't know why.
I used to do that.
I think it's because your soul is telling you no one else is going to agree with you.
No, but that makes it easier for me.
So just to recap what we've got left, we've got Adaptation, Doubt, Bridges of Madison County, and Devil Wears Prada and Kramer vs. Kramer. But Stephen, you're sticking with Devil Wears Prada.
Yeah.
I went Adaptation. Richie.
I changed it to Kramer vs. Kramer.
Jonathan.
Kramer.
Chris.
No, Madison County, that hurt.
But Kramer versus Kramer is going to be number 5.
There go my number 2.
Really interesting. Interesting. You know what? Yeah, this is perfect here.
Actually,
I think
oh, actually, yeah. As much as I like this movie, I think this is a good spot for it.
it's in the top 5. It's fine.
But for 4, I've got adaptation. Richie.
I do too.
Jonathan.
Adaptation.
Yeah, same thing I have always, but a lot like that. Getting
And Stephen.
Still sticking with Devil Wears Prada.
Adaptation is going to be at 4.
Oh boy.
So we've got
make the right
Doubt,
choice.
Bridges of Madison County, and Devil Wears Prada. It's actually a rarity for me that everything that is on the list I've actually seen. Because quite often I'm the outlier a lot of the times but I didn't. Some of the movies that came out, I didn't expect to be that much nose on those movies. But Jonathan, what do you have for number 3?
Yeah, I like this spot for Doubt.
Chris.
I mean, actually, I couldn't see for no Cali Harris, even Pascal, the Bridges of Madison County.
Stephen.
No need to ask.
Sometimes you have to doubt. You might have changed it. Doubt. Richie.
We're going to have to go to the chat. Bridges of Madison County.
No, it actually goes to
Well,
Stephen.
no, we don't.
It goes to Stephen. That's right, because
Stephen between Bridges of Madison
he's
County
the odd one out because he's weird.
and Doubt. What do you want it for?
Make the right choice.
Between those two, it's got to be Bridges of Madison County.
Thank you.
It's a lovely movie. What's wrong with it?
Oh, it's number 3. It's still a lovely movie.
I haven't seen it. That why on my list for.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
So you wrote about it making quiz like you haven't seen it, so you can't judge.
It's a long show. I don't know who has seen what. I don't know.
I've seen the Bridges of Madison County. I just like Doubt more.
Same. Well done. Okay, my number 1 is easy.
Yeah. But just so no one accidentally keeps stuff on their board, we've only put number 1, so did not.
You can get that stuff on your board if you want.
But Chris, what do you have for number 1?
It did the easiest sooner we did it get my number 1, but it did every part.
Stephen, what do you have for number 1?
Doubt.
Devil Wears Prada, Richie.
Devil Wears Prada.
And Jonathan.
Devil Wears Prada.
Wow.
I tried to do the glasses thing, but out of the elevator. It's not cerulean.
But just to recap, our top 12 Meryl Streep movies. At 12, we've got The Post. At 11, we've got Death Becomes Her. At 10, we got It's Complicated. At 9, we got Little Woman. At 8, we got Julie and Julia. At 7, we got The Deer Hunter. At 6, we got Fantastic Mr. Fox. At 5, we got Kramer versus Kramer. At 4, we got Adaptation. At 3, we got Bridges of Madison County. At 2, we got Doubt. And at number 1, we got The Devil Wears Prada. But next week, we're moving over away from Meryl Streep and going to talk about family. It's going to be and the winner of the poll, because they're all Fast and Furious related. And Chris, Chris puts his head in surprise when I put the poll out yesterday when he would have seen it. We're going to be doing a franchise ranking of Fast and the Furious.
Nice.
It's going to be similar when we've done other franchise rankings in which it's not so much nominations, but well, yeah, you know what I mean.
Almost to 12.
11 if you count Hobbs and Shaw.
Well, it's still almost at 12, isn't it, Steve?
Yeah.
Oh,
We have to wait 2 more years to get 12.
But Richie, where can people find you on fucking?
You made Stephen look like a right mum. Anyway, that was funny. You can find me on Dodo Fight, Tier Rank, Combat Wrestling Trivia, a Twitch channel, and Movie Hero Network, where you can also find Twitch on Tier Ranker, but you can also find me on Lonely Mars. We'll be reviewing this week. We're reviewing we'll be doing predictions for Night of Champions and AEW Double or Nothing. And so check that out. I do a 2B podcast with friend Robert Cameron called Tell Him They're Streaming. We're doing, we uploaded Thanksgiving bad movie. We're going to upload Hell Riders, which is a bad Adam West biker movie, and I think the next one we're recording is called Head of the Family, stupid full moon movie. So that should be fun. And yeah, other than that, I'm all around the sort of trivia spaces. You can check me out there. I appear at debates, other trivia leagues, Jordan Allen's Trivia League, doing wrestling and movies, and yeah.
Jonathan, where can people find you online?
Wow, this is on contrary to the Jude Law episode I was in. No, but this was great. This was fun. You can find me all over the social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd. Instagram, cine.caro. Letterboxd, cinecaro without the dot. Twitter, at JohnCarroll4. Just talking about movies, having fun, reviewing stuff. And as for competition, as far as I'm concerned, I'll be in a tournament soon. That's pretty much it. Have fun. Incoming video. I think a lot of people were anticipating this. I will have a Blu-ray collection video very, very soon. It's not going to be as much as other people's Blu-ray collection, but you know what I mean. But this was fun. This was fun. Good episode.
Chris, we can people find you online.
I'm anime like trivia debate. You have to look forward to Wednesday for my ranking, my review of Little Mermaid, because it's Wednesday night, a day early. And then every day out, you find me anywhere, just like I am here at Malcolm on Jordan Channel, TMDG, Alvaro and debate. Yeah, and a Dylan Channel and Jack Hall Trivia. Anywhere, pretty much.
Stephen, we can people find you online.
Oh, I'm here and there. I did recently pre-record a match for what I think is this new tournament. It was called TLU. I don't remember what that even stands for, but.
Great plug, Stephen.
I come prepared. I don't really have anything else coming up at the moment that I can think of.
But you can find me over on the Movie Hero Network, where I do tournament fights. This week is going to be the letter series for 2012 movies, plus a handful of ones that moved over from
other.
But you can find me on Tape for your host Rankum all the time, and I host trivia over on Formidable. But until next time, that is the end of for tonight, and I'm going to go out on this.
And thanks to you, that's over now, and you've ruined that for me.